bring a bunch of research books. I don't know if anybody else wants to read about different types of spiders or Colorado. There's a great book out there called Colorado Insects that not only has all the insects in Colorado, but all the different spiders that are found here. And I've got like 4 different books on tarantulas. So my specialty is tarantulas, and actually I've even specialized even further than that. I collect mostly American tarantulas, which are Phonopelmas. And there's probably only about 30 or 40 species found in the United States. This one isn't. This one's a Brazilian pink bird eater tarantula. So,
How old is he?
this one's a male, and they grow really fast. This one's probably only 3 or 4 years old.
So how big do you expect him to get?
He doesn't get much bigger than that. He gets
Okay.
another inch or 2.
They say some of the largest tarantulas become the size of a dinner plate, and so I think we're going to throw a dinner plate in one of the bins, like the introduction or something, so you can talk to the kids about that.
But what I do have is I have a lot more at home. I have spider molts. So if you I probably have enough. And I have little rock display boxes that I can put them in. So
If you
if
want,
you guys,
you can set them right here on the document.
okay.
Is that why there's like legs?
There's some legs in there. There's a mold right there. So those are different spider molts, and they mold all of their exoskeleton, including their fangs, their lungs, everything. So when they molt, then they molt upside down, and then they crawl out. They push the legs up, and they come out that way. And like I said, I have other tarantulas. I know Miss Zim has a rose hair also, so those are the most mild ones. This one you wouldn't want to handle.
No, thank you.
But I do have some other ones I could bring and put on here.
Can the kids touch these or not really?
The kids can touch those. They should probably wash their hands afterwards, because all of these, if you look at them, they look like they're hairy. And what the hair on there is, I'm gonna have to probably. Okay. So yeah, you can see that they're called urticating hairs, which means they're irritating. So what they do is, and these are all New World tarantulas. So what they do is, and I've got a good example of one that loves to kick its hair. So the hairs are part of the skeleton too. So when it sheds its skeleton, it has hairs on its new legs underneath that. So the hairs are actually part of the exoskeleton. The hairs aren't part of the inside of the spider. It's just part of the shell. So yeah, and spiders are actually tarantulas are not very hardy. If you could drop them from a foot or 2, and their exoskeletons can break, and all their insides will come out because there's nothing else that's holding that in. But the hairs they can be irritating to some people, and some species are a lot more irritating than others. Like this species is fine. This one right here, the red one, is the one that I have a couple of friends that if they get anywhere near it, they break out in hives. So there's certain kinds of hairs that are more irritating than others.
But
These
that's
are
one of
supposed
their
to
big
have.
lines of defense. They shoot the hairs
They
out.
shoot their hairs. Yeah, and I've got an example of one that I brought with me that does shoot the hairs. But I might have some small ones that you could probably hold too. But I'll have them in my room if anybody has any questions.
Want me to pass
Yes.
around?
Can you think of the one that makes some of your friends sick? Because if it makes some of your friends, it might make one of our kids sick, and there goes out.
Well, it doesn't. Yeah. So.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, you know, if they're worried, if they're.
Well, let's not touch it.
Yeah, you don't have to touch it. I mean, you can see the hairs easily under a dock cam. If you have a dock cam, you can show that to them, and they can look at them. They can see them. And you can actually see the fangs as part of the skeleton.
The document camera you can check out from the library from Mrs. Foley ahead of time. Just let her know when you need it, and she'll check it out to you. And then, Mr. Gramberg, what room are you in?
I'm in, I think, 229, and I'm in between Miss Whitson and right next to Mindy Donaldson.
So he's in special services upstairs, but you wouldn't want to be interrupted when you have kids and stuff. Would you want to be emailed the day before
You
if
could
someone
email
was
me,
interested enough? Do you want to tell them what your email is? And doing it this big with all the tarantulas,
So
just
this one's
contact
a-
him.
This one's interesting because it actually builds. You can't see it, but it actually, you see it actually builds a burrow up above, and it comes out at night and it sits there. So this is a burrowing terrestrial spider. And it's one of the few, this one's from, actually from the Cambodia area, it's a cobalt blue. And these are a little more venomous than your regular tarantulas, but no tarantulas are poisonous. Nobody's ever died from a tarantula bite, ever, so.
Painful.
They just look scary.
They just look
Are these in your
scary.
classroom or in your house?
Huh?
Where do you keep these?
In my basement under the stairwell.
Appropriate place.
Yeah, all locked in a locked room in locked cages.
Oh, good.
And my wife doesn't like it very much.
I was gonna ask that.
I do that.
No, what kind
This
of-
is actually, it's just called the red heron. As you can tell, it very easily kicks off its hair. See, it's doing it right now. So you,
Is it spitting its hairs right now?
Yeah.
it just did.
Oh, wow.
yeah, see? And this one is pretty bad at spitting its hairs. I mean, it doesn't take much to provoke it.
How long do they live?
Actually, most of the bigger ones I have are over 10 years old. They'll live 35 years, the females, 5 to 7 years, the males.
When they have babies, how many babies?
Anywhere from, usually a normal clutch for tarantulas is anywhere from like 200 up to probably 12 or 1,400.
Wow. Babies. Why,
It depends what locked up.
why is there no lifespan so much longer?
I think, well, the males, what they do is the males have their, what they call their penultimate molt, is they live like 5 to 7 years. They have their last molt and they die within a year of molting. So they only have a year to find a mate and mate, whereas females can mate and have lots and lots and lots.
Sweet.
Does the majority of female spiders kill their mates?
Pregnant all the time?
What
Well, the
percentage?
majority of tarantulas, they die anyway, whether they get killed or not. They die right after they mate anyway, because what they do is they have their last molt and they only live like 3 to 6 months after their last molt. So chances, whether they get eaten or not, it doesn't matter because they're not going to be around that long. Some of them, like this one, is a African baboon spider, so it actually has, its actually webbing is a lot more, but when I take the lid off, it kind of falls down. But it spins a very big web. And it's got a couple molts in there now,